2018 in WWE. We just came off a tremendous 2017, and so they can WWE keep their momentum in this year. They started off great, but by the end of the year, they just went on a nosedive, right back to where we were in 2016. So we'll see what happened. Start off at the Royal Rumble. We had Ronda Rousey make her debut. Asuka won the Rumble, as well as Shinsuke. Shinsuke didn't really have a good 2017, so the win here kind of propelled him. AJ Styles retained the title against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Brock Lesnar won a triple threat match, retained his Universal title between Braun Strowman and Kane. So probably gets Rumble 7 out of 10. Kind of boring at some points. They had 2 Rumble matches. I've probably combined both men and women. But, they have some type of agenda going on here. Let them run their agenda. Whatever. Is it working? Not really. The ratings aren't really showing it. But, whatever. This is fine. Probably a 7 out of 10. Elimination Chamber. Alexa Bliss won the women's title. Not too keen on that one. She should have lost to Sasha Banks or Bayley. Ever since she beat Bayley at SummerSlam, I haven't really been much of a fan of her. It should have been Sasha Banks, but that's her curse. Every time she wins a title, she seems to lose it very quickly. Ronda Rousey signed her contract for WrestleMania. She started her feud with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. Matt Hardy defeated Bray Wyatt. WWE's kind of utilizing the broken gimmick here. They handled it very decently. Going into WrestleMania, not great, but decent. The Elimination Chamber match was won by Roman Reigns. They fights Brock Lesnar. Kind of knew this about a year ago. She got Fastlane. Nakamura beat Rusev. So they're making Nakamura look strong. Bobby Roode and Randy Orton went at it. Excited for this match. Randy Orton defeated Bobby Roode for the U.S. title. And AJ was in a 6-pack challenge where he retained his title. So we get the WrestleMania feuds, and WWE had a pretty good WrestleMania build. They had the Ultimate Deletion between Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. Seth Rollins feud with The Miz and Finn Balor. They had a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. AJ and Shinsuke had theirs. It's kind of one of the weaker builds. They didn't really have a whole lot of anything. Daniel Bryan made his return to in-ring competition. He feuded with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. His tag team partner was Shane McMahon for WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey had one of the best feuds going into WrestleMania. She feuded with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. Her tag team partner was Kurt Angle. So they did a pretty good job there. Usually they don't care much for Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, but they did a pretty good job here. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. This feud was also done pretty well. They made it up for their feud at 31. This feud was a lot more violent, a lot more physical, a lot better than them at 31. They just did tug of war. John Cena did a tremendous job trying to sell his match with The Undertaker. Each week he kept calling out The Undertaker, called him old, slow. He wants The Undertaker at WrestleMania because he has no way to get to WrestleMania. Lost at the Rumble, lost at Fastlane, lost at the Chamber. So we got the WrestleMania. It's a pretty good WrestleMania. Not as good as last year's, but I still enjoyed it. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey, best match of the night. They beat The Authority. Matt Hardy won the Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He had an assist from Bray Wyatt. Charlotte Flair defeats the streak of Asuka. I was happy about that. I've never really rooted for Charlotte Flair a whole lot, but I didn't really care much for Asuka. I felt like her undefeated streak was overhyped in NXT, and glad she won. WrestleMania 34 took place in New Orleans. 4 years ago, WrestleMania 30 took place in New Orleans. You saw the streak of The Undertaker die. This year, it was the streak of Asuka. The Undertaker made his return after a year-long absence from losing to Roman Reigns. He comes back, topples John Cena in about 2.5 minutes. It was pretty good by Cena, put over The Undertaker. My boy AJ Styles beats Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, once again, is kind of damaged by this loss, but AJ wins. After the match, Shinsuke turns heel, which sparks some intrigue. In the main event, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. It's a 4-year-long story arc coming to a close. Roman and Brock, they fought 31. Seth cashed in. Now we get to finish the story here. This match didn't really need a main event WrestleMania, nor did I think this match really needed to happen. This would have been a great SummerSlam match. However, Brock Lesnar won. He F5'd Roman Reigns. He wins. So, I was intrigued by this matchup. I always wanted to see Brock or Roman. Who would win? And Brock won. He was the better man. The next pay-per-view event was the Greatest Royal Rumble. It's also done pretty well. Brock Lesnar, a rematch against Roman side of a steel cage. Brock retains as Brock got speared through the cage. Brock wins. Some type of controversy happened, but Brock's still champion, so he proves he is the man. Braun Strowman won the Greatest Royal Rumble match. Matt Hardy won the Raw Tag Team titles, so they worked very well with this Woken gimmick, very decently, going into WrestleMania. John Cena beat Triple H, Undertaker beat Rusev, AJ Nakamura went to a no contest. This event was pretty well. It was after this where WWE kind of went into a nosedive here. You had Roman Reigns fight Samoa Joe at Backlash. Roman won. It should have been Samoa Joe. Alexa Bliss won the Raw Women's Championship again. She lost to Nia Jax at WrestleMania. And then she wins Money in the Bank. I would have given it to Ember Moon, but they put it on Alexa. She cashed in the same night. Once again, she's champion. Didn't really like that. Shinsuke Nakamura lose like 500 times to AJ Styles. They really damaged him. He lost at WrestleMania. Didn't win the title at Greatest Royal Rumble. He didn't win the title here at Backlash and lost at Money in the Bank, so they kind of wasted Nakamura. Roman Reigns defeats Jinder Mahal. That was done pretty well. He won the match against Jinder. Roman defeated against Lashley. That was done pretty well. Lashley beat Roman Reigns, which was good. My boy Lashley came back to WWE. He beat Roman Reigns. Lashley should have fought Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Braun Strowman wins Money in the Bank. Didn't care for that. He wasted his Money in the Bank away at Hell in a Cell. And we'll get there. Which probably should have been The Miz. He should have won Money in the Bank. But they gave it to Braun Strowman, the monster in the bank. So we get their feuds for SummerSlam. Miz and Bryan was alright. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, that feud was done pretty well. Brock and Roman, okay, but I didn't care. I didn't really like that they stretched this feud out towards SummerSlam. Roman probably should have won at WrestleMania. They didn't need to do this match at SummerSlam. They didn't need the match at WrestleMania. I've done the match at last year's SummerSlam. I've done Lashley and Lesnar at this year's SummerSlam, or Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins, other than Roman Reigns. I didn't quite care for it. Same story. Whatever. Don't know why they stretched it out. Ronda Rousey feud with Alexa Bliss is alright, but didn't really care for it. Wasn't much a fan of Alexa Bliss. She didn't need to win the women's title. I wish they had Nia Jax as champion, maybe Ember Moon or some other star. Jeff Hardy Nakamura, they defeated over the U.S. title. Extreme Rules, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Jeff Hardy. But their feud here for SummerSlam was overshadowed. So had Randy Orton start a feud in the middle of the summer. So I was intrigued by that one. Not really one with Nakamura, so Nakamura took a back seat. Once again, he's kind of being damaged here. So they're kind of running Shinsuke Nakamura. Another NXT talent that came with the main roster. Wasn't much of a fan of him, but he had a great entrance, great look. Put on some pretty good matches, but comes to the main roster and right away they did him injustice. So we get the SummerSlam. This was a pretty good event. Yeah. It's Seth Rollins beat Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. I didn't care much about their feud going into it. It's kind of boring. You had The Miz beat Daniel Bryan. You had AJ Styles beat Samoa Joe. Ronda Rousey beat Alexa Bliss. Nakamura beat Jeff Hardy. And Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar due to a distraction by Braun Strowman. So we get the Hell in a Cell. Miz and Bryan continued their feud. They brought their wives into the mix. Miz teamed up with Maurice. He defeated Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. AJ Styles defeated Samoa Joe. They stretched out their feud. Their feud was done very well. Randy Orton defeated Jeff Hardy inside Hell in a Cell. Their match was awesome. It was brutal. There was blood. Had everything. The main event was Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. It went to a no contest, and Brock Lesnar made his return. He F5 both Strowman and Roman Reigns. So this is going to stretch out the feud longer between Roman and Lesnar. Not something really that I'm interested in, but I'm glad that Brock's back, so I thought it was gone. As far as the feud between Roman and Strowman, it was alright, but Braun wasted away his briefcase here. He told Roman that he was going to cash in his briefcase. But later in the night, he turned heel, he attacked Roman. He already turned in his briefcase. If he had it, he could have pinned him and became champion. But the feud was alright. Okay, didn't really care much for it, but, it's Braun Roman. They usually do alright together. This match was alright, but in a no contest. So Braun Strowman didn't win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Wasted away. Well, they really made Strowman look like an idiot this year. Teaming up with a kid at WrestleMania. Dress up like an elf, dress up like a doctor. Have him foolishly lose at Extreme Rules to Kevin Owens. He throws Kevin Owens over to the cage, which Kevin Owens wins the match. Because he escaped the cage, technically. Next pay-per-view, we get Super Showdown. We had The Undertaker defeat Triple H. We had Triple H actually beat The Undertaker. So he gets his first victory over The Undertaker. The Shield, they had a reunion. They defeat Braun Strowman. Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Didn't really care much about their feud. Triple H, Undertaker was alright. Styles, Samoa Joe, they fought again. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. They did a pretty good feud, but Samoa Joe lost again. He should have won. Should have won at SummerSlam. He did win the SummerSlam by disqualification, but he didn't win the title. Lost the Hell in a Cell. It was at Super Showdown. John Cena made his return. Teamed up with Lashley, defeated Elias and Kevin Owens. As far as Super Showdown goes, so that was a pretty good event. This year WWE's put on some pretty good pay-per-views. The only one I haven't liked so far is Extreme Rules. Also, this event, you had Ronda Rousey team up with the Bella Twins. They won their match against the Riot Squad. So you get Evolution, the first all-women's pay-per-view. Major event for the women's division. There wasn't really much build going into their pay-per-view. The only build I liked was Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Ronda Rousey, Nikki Bella. Everything else, didn't really care for. Trish Stratus made a return. Teamed up with Lita. They defeat Alicia Fox and Mickie James. So whatever. Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte Flair in a great match. Ronda Rousey defeated Nikki Bella. The NXT Women's Championship also on the line with Shayna Baszler defeating Kairi Sane, the defending champion. I never really liked Kairi Sane. Don't know why they gave her the title. She dropped it right back to Shayna Baszler. The Battle Royal won by Nia Jax. All the legends were there. This event was done pretty well. Like I said, WWE does pretty good pay-per-view events, but the weekly television at this time was just very terrible. Poor builds, a lot of creative decisions that didn't make sense. It was, stuff that I didn't really like. Couldn't really get into it. It was very boring. The next night, you had Roman Reigns announce that he had leukemia, so he could not defend his Universal title at the next pay-per-view, so he had to relinquish it. You see the Shield hugging Roman Reigns. In the night, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins won the Raw Tag Team titles. After that, Dean Ambrose just turns heel. Beautiful moment. The fans are crying. They don't know what's going on. So they feuded for the Intercontinental title later at the end of the year. I enjoyed their feud. You had DX. They began to feud the Brothers of Destruction for Crown Jewel. Brock Lesnar did a feud with Braun Strowman. Samoa Joe once again did a feud with AJ Styles. Supposed to be Daniel Bryan, but he refused to go to Crown Jewel because of what happened in Saudi Arabia. The journalist getting killed. You also had Cena refused to go to Saudi Arabia. So WWE kind of in hot water now. At Crown Jewel, not really a good pay-per-view event. They had a World Cup tournament, which didn't matter because had Shane McMahon win it. Wasn't even a participant in the match. The finals was Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. The Miz got hurt and Shane McMahon took his place, and he won the tournament. But you know, McMahon wins the best in the world. Didn't really care for that. DX beat the Brothers of Destruction. Featured Shawn Michaels' return to the ring in about 10 years. AJ Styles once again beats Samoa Joe here. Samoa Joe kind of getting buried here. They've ruined Samoa Joe. He's lost to Roman Reigns. He's lost to AJ Styles. Didn't really care much for it. Hulk Hogan made his return. After he had a previous scandal in 2015, but he's back in the company now. That's good for him. Brock Lesnar squashed Braun Strowman like 5 minutes. Now, I had a good idea that Brock would win, but I didn't think they would do it like that. Thought it would be a fight, but Brock hit him with 5 F5s, and that was it. They kind of buried Braun Strowman. Looks more like an idiot. I know Corbin hit him in the back of the head, the Universal title, but Brock Lesnar walks out, Universal Champion. Not a very good event. The tournament meant nothing, but my boy AJ won, Brock won, DX won. Hulk Hogan was there. Those were the only highlights. The build going in. Only liked the DX's feud. That's it. Brock and Braun didn't care. AJ and Joe, it's alright, but Joe's already lost like 3 times. Didn't need to fight AJ. So you had Survivor Series. This was awesome as well. You had Seth Rollins defeat Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura loses again here as champion. He hasn't really done well so far in 2018. Now we had Team Raw defeat Team SmackDown. You had Charlotte Flair lose to Ronda Rousey by disqualification. Supposed to be Becky Lynch, but Nia Jax accidentally punched Becky Lynch in the face, which broke her nose. She was unable to compete. Main event, Brock Lesnar defeated Daniel Bryan. And SmackDown a couple weeks later, Daniel Bryan defeated AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, which was shocking. I thought they'd have AJ Styles beat CM Punk's record, but that didn't happen. So looking back on it, Samoa Joe should have won that WWE title at SummerSlam. We could have gotten Joe and Lesnar instead of Bryan and Lesnar, but Bryan and Lesnar intrigued by the matchup. I was intrigued. I was very intrigued by this matchup. They could have done it at WrestleMania 31 instead of Roman Reigns. They had Roman win the Rumble. They could have done it at SummerSlam 2014 if Bryan didn't get hurt, but they kind of made up for all that stuff right here. Awesome match. Brock Lesnar won. Then we got the TLC. TLC, a very boring pay-per-view. Never really cared for the builds. Ronda Rousey beat Nia Jax. Didn't care for their build. Braun Strowman beat Baron Corbin. Didn't really care about that. Rey Mysterio, okay build with Randy Orton. Did an okay build with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio won with a shocking upset. The main event was a TLC match between Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Asuka won. She hasn't really looked too well in 2018. She lost to Charlotte, lost twice to Carmella, lost the Super Showdown to the Iconics. She wins here, but doesn't really do her all too good. I didn't really care much about her. And you see Dean Ambrose beat Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. That was the only feud that I really enjoyed. Everything else, kind of terrible. So that's it for 2018. They start off great, build towards WrestleMania. But they just ended on the sour note, stretching out the Lesnar-Roman Reigns feud. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy at the WrestleMania, they didn't really do anything. They lost their tag titles to the B team. They really didn't do anything with the broken gimmick after WrestleMania. Disappointed. Alexa Bliss, still women's champion. They stretched her feud out with Ronda Rousey. They didn't care for that. They made Braun Strowman look like an idiot. Dean and Seth Rollins had a great feud, but kind of too late, because they sacrificed it for the whole Shield reunion. But then after their match at TLC, Lashley won the Intercontinental title, so that dropped their feud. I would have continued it. Seth Rollins did a boring feud with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler won the Intercontinental title, and Seth had to win it back at SummerSlam, so they didn't really care for that. WWE started off great here, but right after WrestleMania, a nosedive. This year kind of sucked. We have to get a 5 out of 10, just like 16. It was better than 16, but it was very close to being just as bad. The reason why is because they lost Roman Reigns in October with leukemia. They went out to do treatments, and they didn't have any other built superstars. They tried some things, they just failed. Corbin and Lashley, McIntyre formed a tag team, defeated Braun Strowman, but didn't really do any good. They stretched out the feud of Roman and Lesnar, match that everyone was tired of seeing. No one wanted to see it. I would have done Lashley and Lesnar, McIntyre and Lesnar, or Rollins and Lesnar at SummerSlam, not Roman again. He lost at WrestleMania, fair and square. That's it. Don't know why he got more rematches. It didn't work out for him because he had to ring for the title anyway. This is your 2018 review. Started off great, ended on a sour note. Very disappointed.